What would you do if God asked you to do the unthinkable? To live in disgrace, to eat the food of poverty, to make your very life a symbol of judgment? This is the story of Ezekiel, the prophet who cooked his bread on dung. The year was heavy with despair. Jerusalem had fallen into corruption, and its people were carried away into exile in Babylon. Among them was Ezekiel, a priest who had been chosen as a prophet. He lived not in palaces, but among the dust of the captives, a place where the air was dry, cracked, and carried the smell of sweat and hunger. And it was there that the voice of God thundered into his bones. Son of man, I am laying upon you a sign for Israel. You shall eat food rationed by weight, barely enough to survive, and you shall cook it over human dung. For so shall the people eat defiled food in the nations where I drive them. Ezekiel fell to his knees. His voice trembled. My Lord God, I have never defiled myself. Not since youth has impure food touched my lips. His cry was not rebellion, but desperation, the plea of a man torn between holiness and horror. And the voice of God answered again, Very well, I will give you cow's dung instead of human dung. Prepare your bread on that. The command was not softened, only shifted. The next day, under the scorching sun, Ezekiel gathered dry cow dung from the dusty ground. He piled it into a small heap, set a flame, and laid his bread upon it. The smoke rose, bitter, acrid, thick with humiliation. Flies circled. His neighbors watched in silence, their faces twisted between mockery and pity. Look at the prophet, some sneered. He eats like a beggar, like the unclean. But Ezekiel did not turn away. He broke the bread hard and thin, and ate it slowly, each bite a prophecy. For the people's impurity had reached heaven, and now his very body bore witness to their disgrace. Day after day, Ezekiel repeated the act, measuring his grain carefully, rationing water sip by sip. His cracked lips bled. His ribs pressed against the skin. The fire of dung smoke clung to him like a shroud. And yet, in his suffering, a story was being told. Israel's pride was burning away, reduced to ash and hunger. Their corruption was not hidden. It was exposed in the bread of a prophet. The story of Ezekiel is not one of comfort, but of confrontation. Sometimes, obedience does not look glorious. Sometimes, it looks humiliating. Sometimes, the prophet is not the one standing tall in splendor, but the one kneeling in ashes, cooking bread over dung, because God asked him to. And through his obedience, a nation was warned.